I think a lot of that is we don't work together, and it's like we don't unite. So what happens if just think of it? Let's say, for instance, it's not gonna happen, but let's say all the football players, like, remember what the uproar was and the pushback got came back when we'll take it like when Travis Hunter, and I'm not just saying this because I'm a homer, but when he went to Jackson State, the detractors were, why is he doing that? He's going to ruin his career. He'll never be anything, instead of going to Florida State, the big school. Well, look,
Right.
he's going to end. He won a Heisman, and even though he transferred, but he followed Dion. But it's like, what if all the top five or the 5-star, 4-star basketball players or football players from college just went to HBCUs? What would
Mm-hmm.
the how would the narrative change? Because then now we would have that change in narrative, because
Mm-hmm.
now the TV deals and all that it will be different because they want to see the talent. And you can do that with the NBA and all that. So it's the money, and I don't think we pull it together. And a lot of times, like, just imagine all these record companies, if like Death Row and say Bad Boy, all the time at the time. What if they all got together and they did their distribution in the '90s when they were supposedly having this West Coast East Coast thing, which I think
Yeah.
was manufactured to, it's always been a divide and conquer, you know, because that's one of the things, that was one of the most powerful things that they were afraid of the Panthers for, was, oh, look what happens when black folks get together. And and a lot of people don't understand is, it wasn't just the Panthers, the Latin folks, the Mexican folks, they was together too at the same time, but they want to make sure that they was separated, and to this day, and it's, look what's happening. So
Yeah, everybody's cool with the get down when it's rioting and tearing up stuff and then, tearing up the club and all that's cool. But when we got to go back home to these burnt up communities, no banks, no hospitals, no none of our own schools, not teaching our kids our own curriculum, our own history, our real ancestral beliefs and things like that, we're lost. We're stuck. Like it's almost a fear amongst us to seek out the truth.
Be
A
sure
lot
to
of
stay
us are
connected
woke.
with us
I
during the
won't
week
say
through our
that.
weekly
But a lot
podcasts
of
on
us are
Spotify,
just
our
scared of
YouTube
what
channel,
Uncle
Patreon,
Sam
and
or the
social media.
boogeyman or whoever's out there. If we make $1 without them, they're not gonna like us no more. We won't get monetized.
yeah,
If it's good content, it's good content. We got to start believing more in ourselves, promoting ourselves, each other, building up each other. It's a
yeah,
deep seated dislike for ourselves that we got to build our self esteem back up because we
well,
are
that's
losing generations due to drill and all these other musics that have been so negative. Not just
yeah,
drill, but just poverty, just
yeah.
homelessness, illiteracy, just
Well,
the ball has been dropped and nobody recovered the fumble.
that's been 300 years in the making, because
Yeah,
it
totally
was it was say it was said that
systematic.
if you control the mind, the body will follow. So once they get us to
Yes.
the mentality of, we can't work to, you always hear black men, black women, they can't work together, they can't get along. Well, who's pushing that narrative? They're
Yeah.
telling us that we can't do this. Well, who's pushing that narrative? So
And
so
who's believing the narrative?
yeah, but if we control the narrative to push, it don't matter. You're gonna believe what's being pushed. But if it's
Yeah.
being pushed in the correct way, so it's like take the instance, for instance, the word woke or DEI or CRT. We allow those narratives to be co-opted and switched to something completely different. And I'm not saying that there's conservative think tanks, and I'm not saying all conservatives are bad, but there are some that that's their sole purpose. There are think tanks that they specifically, when they see that word and they see it gaining, or they see those words or those terms gaining any kind of street grassroots, they specifically craft a way to make it negative. Because like
Mhm.
CRT is something that was that critical race theory is not taught until postgraduate school. So, the fact that they're saying that, oh, it's taught in elementary school, you can't find you can't find a high school where it's even ever been taught. But they use that narrative to make people think, oh, this is what they're teaching you in your this is what they're teaching your kids in the schools, to teach them to be ashamed of being. No, that's what you seen on TV, or the whatever YouTube channel that you were saying, and then that narrative's pushed and pushed and pushed.